Harriett Baldwin.
Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker, and can I start by apologising to the House and to the Chief Secretary for not being quite here for the beginning of the statement, having failed to end our committee session quite on time to be here. But I caught most of what was being said, and I want to start by welcoming very much the fact that this autumn statement has been accompanied by an Office for Budget Responsibility forecast, something that the committee has been asking for many months now. And we have got the Office for Budget Responsibility in front of our committee tomorrow. And I do recognise that any forecast in and of itself is going to be inaccurate. It is at best a best guess of what the future is going to hold. But it will allow us to test the assumptions that are in that forecast, and also recognise the fact that these forecasts were brought in, by the 2010 Conservative-led coalition for a very good reason, and that is that they prevent the Treasury from exclusively marking their own homework. They have become one of the guardrails of fiscal responsibility, and I think it's something that we have learnt in the last few months really do matter to the markets themselves. And so very much welcome the forecast, the existence of the forecast. Also very much welcome the fact that the measures in the autumn statement appear to go completely with the grain of what is obviously the biggest economic challenge our country faces at the moment, which is the hideous inflation that we are suffering. We know that about 80% of the inflation that we're currently suffering from comes directly from Putin's evil invasion of Ukraine. But we also recognise the fact that inflationary pressures predated that inflation, and we've taken quite a lot of evidence now over the last couple of years about those incipient inflationary pressures as we came out of the pandemic at a time when the Bank of England had the monetary foot to the floor, the government had the fiscal foot to the floor. You couldn't really come up with a recipe, Mr Deputy Speaker, for inflation that would be more successful than that. And sure enough, it has become more ingrained in our economy. And I think everyone in this House can see that inflation is the most insidious tax, particularly on the poorest. It is the most terrible scourge on our economy, and I very much welcome the fact that fiscal policy will now be brought in line with what the Bank of England is trying to do through monetary policy to bring inflation back to the target level. The third thing I just want to highlight, because it is a deep concern, I'm sure, to everyone, is the fact that there is a line in the budget which is up dramatically. It may not be up dramatically in cash terms, but it's up dramatically because we have more debt, and that is the debt interest bill. It is over £100 billion. And what I would like to ask the Minister when he responds to the debate is that since 2000, the amount of our debt in this country that's issued that is linked to inflation rates has actually gone from 6% index linked to the current level of 22% index linked. And that means that the government is effectively short the rate of inflation and is paying the price now in terms of that line item. The question I have for the Minister is, was there an explicit decision taken in the Treasury in those years to issue more index-linked debt? If so, who made it, and was it announced to this House? Because it is really coming home to bite now in the fiscal accounts, and it would be very nice to know what the thinking was at the time, or was it something that we've kind of sleptwalked into as a nation? And then my final point, in what I hope will be suitably brief remarks, Mr Deputy Speaker, is to reiterate the comments that were made from my right honourable friend, the member for South Northamptonshire, about cliff edges. I fully accept that during the pandemic, when the Treasury is making decisions at speed, wants to get money out to people as quickly as possible, And similarly, this year with the energy crisis, decision was taken to get money out as quickly and as easily as possible to the lowest income households. The 2 payments of £325 have been really important to help people with the cost of living this winter. But I'm more concerned now that with the benefit of having had more time to think about things, although arguably the Chancellor's not been in post that long, but Treasury officials have had more time to think about these things, that the £900 payment next year is going to be made also with a big cliff edge. Because what kind of behavioural signals is that now going to send through the benefit system? We have spent the better part of the last 12 years introducing universal credit precisely so that it has a linear impact. And yet next year we are now entrenching a way of paying the lowest income households. And don't get me wrong, I support giving help to the lowest income households. But what worries me is that that £900 payment is going to people on means-tested benefit. But if you're on £1 above what is needed to get that means-tested benefit, you won't get it. And I wonder if the Treasury could look at something that is more going with the grain of the type of work incentives that we are trying to put in through universal credit. And we've heard about the withdrawal of labour in the labour market, and perhaps this aspect could be considered in the Stride review so that we can ensure that we are not making the problem worse through the decisions that we're taking in this autumn statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lynn Brown.